Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Presidency sacks NNPC, GMD, Andrew Yakubu and others. The Lagos State Governor dismisses fears of more Ebola cases in Lagos, wants federal government to order closure of borders with Ebola-infested countries. PDP and APC trade words over huge security presence in Osun State. New Inspector General of Police Suleiman Abba takes over, promises safety and security for all Nigerians. And Gaza-Israeli truce crumbles 2 hours after, with each side accusing the other of breaching the ceasefire. Do remember that all our top stories are on our website, ChannelsTV.com, and on YouTube.com/channelsweb. Do visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. And we urge you to interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature on our Android, iOS, and Windows 8 platforms. If you have pictures or videos to share with us, tap the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and then follow the instructions. The fight against the spread of the deadly Ebola virus has become such a global priority that the head of the World Health Organization and leaders of West African nations affected by the Ebola outbreak are set to announce a new $100 million response plan. They've been meeting in Guinea to launch the initiative to tackle a virus which has claimed 729 lives. Meanwhile, Sierra Leone has declared an emergency after 233 people died there. Ebola spreads by contact with infected blood, bodily fluids, organs, or contaminated environments.
Authorities in Sierra Leone, which has the highest number of Ebola cases, were preparing to contain the virus on Thursday. Security forces will enforce a quarantine on all centers of the disease and help health officers and aid workers to work unhindered following attacks on health workers by local people. A new treatment center had been set up near capital Freetown in a village called Lakar.
We are currently in the process of staffing that center. As a matter of fact, we have some of our young doctors and nurses who were in Kenema for training. These young doctors and nurses are expected to work at that treatment center at Lakar, in addition to the international staff that we expect in country starting tomorrow.
So far, 729 people have died from the virus in West Africa. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization said it was launching a $100 million response plan to combat Ebola in West Africa, but is not recommending travel restrictions or border closures, saying there would be a low risk to other passengers if an infected person flew.
We talk about around $100 million being needed to fund this response plan. The plan includes, identifies a whole range of medical personnel required to help support the response to the outbreak. This includes doctors, nurses, logisticians, epidemiologists, etc., communications experts, social mobilization experts to talk with members of the community to get the messages out about what to do, about to present at health facilities, about to ensure that they get there early for treatment.
Liberia is not leaving anything to chance either. Schools and universities have shut in the capital, Monrovia, as the authorities try to combat the Ebola virus, which has claimed 129 lives in the country. The latest outbreak of the Ebola virus began in the forest of remote eastern Guinea in February. It starts with headaches and fever, and final stage symptoms include external and internal bleeding, vomiting, and diarrhea.
Now, one of those tracking the spread of the deadly Ebola virus is VOA's Steve Baragona, and he says that the worst-hit countries are majorly the war-torn states in the sub-region. He advises African leaders to rise to the challenge to stop the spread of the virus.
Where the serious outbreaks of Ebola have been, Ebola and also Marburg, a related virus, they've all been in areas that have been devastated by conflict. Democratic Republic of Congo, for one, Sierra Leone, of course, Liberia also. And in Guinea, they dodged the bullet of the civil wars that happened in their neighboring countries, but they had years of corrupt government and poor governance. And over that time, the health systems have just degraded and degraded and degraded. And so they're just not equipped to handle these things. So that's one aspect. And then you also have the problem of people themselves. When you have poor people, especially in rural areas, they're going deeper and deeper into the forests to try to find food to feed themselves. And as they go into these forests, they're encountering the wildlife that carries the virus. And also, in order to feed themselves, they're cutting down the forests in order to make charcoal for fuel and also to grow crops. And so as they cut down the forest, you wind up driving that same wildlife that carries the virus out of the forest and into contact with people. So it's kind of it happens from both sides.
All right, let's turn our focus to politics and the arrival of security personnel in Osun State ahead of the August the 9th governorship elections has been greeted with mixed reactions from two of the major political parties contesting the elections. The All Progressive Congress candidate and incumbent Governor Rauf Aregbesola has raised concern that the presence of the security men is capable of causing fear in his people. But a leader of the People's Democratic Party, Ojo Williams, insists the presence of the security personnel is to ensure a violence-free election.
They have no right to come and harass us in our own land. This is our land. And until the end of our term, I'm the legitimate authority to govern this place, to secure the life of our citizens. Nobody, and there will be nobody can threaten and persecute us. We are here. We are here with the full body of the law, and we shall explore the law to the fullest to protect our lives and the lives of our people. Any agents acting under the cover of the Nigerian Constitution cannot mask in the presence of law-abiding citizens of Nigeria. Anyone that does so is acting against the Constitution. We will warn them officially, after which we will take our action against them.
Provision of security is paramount. Losers don't agree that they lost. And as soon as elections are over, or as soon as they see that they are losing, they take to the streets with hoodlums and thugs to unleash mayhem on innocent Nigerians. That had been the history of elections in Nigeria. This coming election in Osun State cannot be different from our history, as a nation. It savors of a paradox that a chief security officer of a state will be saying what the governor is saying. He is the chief security officer of the state. He should actually be praising those security men that are come on ground in Osun State to ensure a hitch-free, violence-free election.
In the meantime, the Independent National Electoral Commission says the distribution of permanent voters' cards in Cross River State will take place from August the 15th to the 17th, while the continuous voter registration will begin from August the 20th to the 25th. The resident electoral commissioner, Mike Igini, explained this at a forum at the INEC office in Calabar, Cross River State, South Nigeria. The event was aimed at properly educating select personnel who will in turn enlighten the masses on the importance of the exercise. Representatives of different political parties, security agencies, as well as civil society groups gathered to get first-hand knowledge of the permanent voters' cards, as well as the continuous voters' registration exercise. The INEC boss explains that the PVCs will be distributed across all the polling units in the state, and voters must collect their cards personally.
We are going to have what we call distribution officer, the DO. The DO is going to do a compilation of a register of collection. At that point, before you are giving
PVC, the DR, the distribution officer, will have to enter your name in the distribution register, the DR. Your biometrics, your thumbprints will be collected again.
Some stakeholders pledged their support in ensuring a hitch-free exercise. The Bakassi representatives also urged INEC to reconcile issues that may hinder them in exercising their franchise in the coming elections.
Set aside a day and call Bakassi here. Let us agree here how we want. These things are laws. They could be amended. If Cross River State law was not in sync with what is in the national constitution, the assembly is here, sir. We can go to them and tell them to amend it to reflect the reality on ground.
So we challenge all of us as stakeholders to go back. We are going to do that in our churches. We are planning, we have a department in our churches, in the PFN and even CAN that will sensitize our people.
It appears that efforts taken by the Commission to enfranchise voters will set the pace for a free and fair election come 2015. Well, impressive as the launch of the Terrorism Victim Support Fund might have been, the campaigners calling for the rescue of the Chibok girls say raising funds for their rehabilitation is a misplaced priority. They're asking the government to instead focus on the rescue of the girls from Boko Haram's captivity. They insist that they'll continue to demand for the rescue of the girls by the government. It's 109 days since over 200 schoolgirls were abducted in a dormitory in Chibok, Borno State. These campaigners have continued to hold sit-out sessions in spite of the weather condition. This time, the evening showers in the Federal Capital Territory did not stop them from gathering. One after the other, they raised concerns over the recent launch of the Victim Support Initiative.
Those girls don't care about money. What they care about right now is their well-being. What they care about right now is for those girls to return. As far as I'm concerned, this is another shift from the core issue. Our core issue should be that those girls should return. Unfortunately, should be rescued. Unfortunately, we are talking about billions. People are mandated to donate a particular amount of money. I'm sorry, it's a shame.
They keep coming up with little things to dilute or to distract from the main cause. And what does that signal? What does that signify? What it signifies is that they really are up to nothing when it comes to the core thing we're asking, the rescue.
Most of the members say the fundraising is a deviation from the major objective of rescuing the girls. In all, they plan to keep demanding the safe return of the girls.
We should find a way to put a little bit more pressure on them so that they will not relax comfortably and then keep working on their election strategy. The strategy that they should be working on right now should be how to rescue these girls safely. Instead of helping the people now, if they really want to help the people, let them control Boko Haram first.
While government has promised the safe return of the girls, what these Nigerians, as well as members of international community, hope to see is the rescue of the Chibok girls. When the news at 10 returns, Nigeria and Ghana set to establish regulatory council to monitor prohibited goods from both nations. That's on Business News. Do join us again.